Hello, I'm Christina with the Turned Leg, and today I am going to answer the question that I am asked the most often. So the question you've been waiting for, and that is, what sells well for me? It's also a full-out snowstorm outside my window right now, so it is the perfect time to sit down and chat. Before I get started, I want to offer a full disclosure because I'm located right outside Detroit, Michigan. And what sells for me, what's popular for me, even in my part of Michigan, might not sell well for you. So don't go, well, Christina said, no hate mail, okay? But I am curious about how what sells well for me compares. And I would really welcome all of you that sell and are resellers to chime in the comments down below. I've compiled all of my information from last year, and I'm going to share with you what is selling well for me. First thing I want to point out is there was a huge trend, and that was that last year was the year of smalls. Big items did not sell as much for me or as well as they have in the past. And I think there were a lot of reasons that contributed to this. So smalls was where it was at. Now, you've heard me say before, smalls sell. You have to have smalls to make your rent. You also don't know what people are going to want to buy, so you have to have a variety. You can't predict, boy, do I wish we could, what is going to be the magical item that is going to make you all of the money. One tip I will tell you though is when you are buying items for your booth, make sure you're always buying things you love. So if items are sitting in your space, at least you'll still go, yeah, that's pretty cool, I like it. The other thing I noticed last year is you really had to work harder for sales. I think small businesses in years past have really been supported a little extra, which we've appreciated, but now it's harder. One thing that's really helped me is using social media. Now, I know some of you are probably going to start screaming at the screen right now, but why? I'm in an antique mall and they advertise. That is all true. If you invest a little bit in social media to get the word out, I guarantee you're going to have more shoppers and more sales. And best of all, social media is completely free. Now, if you're totally lost and don't know where to start, I have a video here all about social media that you can check out. I also have a booth owners business group on Facebook where we talk about social media a lot, and I'll put the information in the description box below if you want more information. Let's get right into the small things that are selling. And these are in no particular order, but I'm talking small. I'm talking really small. In fact, one of the biggest sellers in my booth have been those little Wade statues. Yes, the ones that used to come in tea. They sell when nothing else sells. I always laugh when I get my printouts at the end of the day. Nothing sold but a whole bunch of Wades. So make sure in your booth you have little things, and I have them located right at the entrance of my booth. That's where they sell the best. I was told by a dealer quite a few years ago that people always have like $5 or less to spend. Having an item that is little and doesn't cost them a lot of money right on the entrance or the exit of your booth, handy for them to grab, is a great idea. If you're not already doing that, try to think about what you can have. Something that's kind of similar to this are matches. Recently, I came into an entire match collection, tons and tons of matches that have been collected over the years from local places, from international places, from places across the country. Instead of selling the entire collection, which you can do, but I'm talking this was huge, I put them in Ziploc bags. And I put like 3 handfuls in a Ziploc sandwich bag. I also close them up. I'll put a picture here so you can see how I seal them. This helps to discourage people from opening the bags, and I also put my price tag. I did not put out the entire collection all at once, because if you have too much, you just have too much. It's gonna overwhelm your shoppers. But I've been putting these out little by little, and they're selling like hotcakes. I don't think matchbooks are really available anywhere anymore. Even my daughter, who saw these, was like, what are those? I mean, she knew they were matches, but she never knew that they came with advertising. So matches have been really hot. Along the same vein are bags of stuff. This year, one of the things I did at Christmas time is I had a whole bunch of like leftover rogue stuff. They were like remnants of decor, like things you could put in wreaths or put into your Christmas tree or put into crafts. I literally bagged these things up because I got the idea at Plaza Antiques. In fact, I got the idea from another dealer at Plaza Antiques. She has a YouTube channel called Junking with Lou. I'll put all of her information down below. Go check her out. Lots of tips and tricks there too. So I bagged these things up, I slapped a price on them, I put them in bigger bags with a bigger price tag, and they sold. People love things in bags. I've also recently got a whole bunch of vintage greeting cards. These are cards that were written in. Put them in bags kind of by how they were organized. Birthday cards all together, baby cards together, Christmas cards, and I've put them out, and things in bags have been hot. The crafters love them. Another thing that has been very popular is grab bags. I had seen this before. People in antique malls and vintage malls, and heck, actually one of our local rock shops does the same thing. They put things in brown paper grab bags, they set a price, and people buy them. I decided to do the same thing this year with junk grab bags. And people want to know, Christina, what are you putting in those junk grab bags? I sell hardware, I sell salvage, I sell spindles, rogue weird stuff. If I can't put it into a bag or I have an odd number, these are the things I'm putting in junk bags. The other thing I want to make very clear is you don't just have to do a junk bag. You could do a vintage jewelry bag. You could do vintage photo grab bag. You could do, teacups. I don't know, anything. Put it in a grab bag. Don't let them see what is inside. And that's what people are loving. And every time I make my junk bags, they are selling out. Now make sure whatever bags you use, you provide value. Would you really pay this much for the bag? Keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, are you putting something in that's worth more than you're charging? Your junk bags don't have to be like $5 like mine are. You could have them at different price points. You do you. Make them specific to your booth. Try a few and let me know if they work. Another standby, and I'm telling you, this has been on my list since I've become a booth owner in 2015, and that is books sell. Sure, we're going digital, but people still love books. And what kind of books? All kinds. Pretty books. So they don't have to be any book anyone's ever heard of, but the cover is pretty. Maybe it's a color blocking book, all red books for people to put on a shelf or use for decor. Maybe it has a funny title. Those sell. Popular books, obviously, if you've got an old Mark Twain or H.G. Wells or something, people are picking those up. I'm also selling children's books, popular children's books, and I'm selling cookbooks. Those are things people are always picking up and purchasing. So if you don't already sell a few books in your booth and they fit your style, you might want to consider it. Another item, and this surprised me, is I know that metal things have been hot, especially with the whole maximalist decor that's becoming vogue. People like collections, they like sparkly things. I have silver, I have copper in my booth, but this year's winner totally surprised me, was brass. And I was so lucky to get an estate that had a ton of vintage brass items. I put them in my booth and I have sold quite a few. And many of these, because they were older pieces, larger pieces, I sold them, even though they were smalls, at really good prices. I'm curious to know in other areas, what metal, if any, is selling well for you? Copper, silver, brass? Let me know. Another thing that sells well, and it surprises me a little bit, are pictures. I'm talking about prints. I'm talking about oils, all of the things. But one thing, at least in my area, and most of the homes are smaller around me, are on the smaller size. If you have a huge piece that's going to overwhelm your walls, it's probably not going to sell very quickly. Smaller pictures of any kind are selling well for me. I've also been surprised. I've been selling a lot of mirrors too, which in the past haven't done so well. Another generic grouping, and I know maybe some of you will be disappointed that I'm kind of lumping all of this in together, but I'll explain, has been collectibles and little tchotchkes, little things that people can keep and collect. One thing I'm noticing though is they find value in it. So it pulls on their heartstrings. For instance, dogs. Anything with a little vintage dog has been really popular and collectible at the right price point. If it's too expensive, it's not gonna sell. So small, fairly inexpensive, budget-friendly, collectible items. Dogs have been very popular, floral items have been very popular, and just unique pieces. So if you find something you love and it's not too expensive, you might want to put it in your booth because probably someone else is going to love it too. One more note about that is with the tchotchkes, they really haven't all been vintage or antique. I do have some generic home decor items, but I make sure they're well made. Something I would put in my home, and I think that's why people are purchasing them. Another thing that's been selling really well for me are mid-century modern items, pieces, and even the occasional piece of furniture if it's cool enough. They are selling quick. There are so many people that are interested in decorating their homes in that style. But once again, I will caution, smaller items are selling better than the larger pieces, but these really have to be quality larger pieces for them to sell quickly. Another thing that has surprised me, because I've had these items for a while, is I'm seeing a trend in glassware again. And specifically milk glass and high-end glassware. Colored glass, not clear. Clear still doesn't sell, no matter who makes it for me. I don't know if that's just in my area, let me know. I'm talking about quality glass, like Fenton or art glass. These are selling more than I have seen in a while. And I've been really surprised the popularity of the milk glass lately. People really realize they can use it to decorate for any season. It's great for anywhere in any home. So if you haven't tried a piece or two of milk glass in your space for a while, maybe set it out. I think one of the keys to selling glassware, at least in my space, is you have to show people how to use it. They don't want something else to junk up their house. So you can't just throw things out and say, hey, buy my glass. You instead have to show them how you can use it. You can style the milk glass. You can put like Easter grass and Easter eggs in it. You can put Christmas ornaments in it for the holidays. You can put a whole bunch of spring flowers and a bunch of milk glass vases for spring. Things like this are going to give people really good ideas how they can use it in their home. Finally, the last thing that is so hot in my area at my antique mall, and I know this because I occasionally work as a cashier at Plaza Antiques and Collectibles, and I'm seeing people come in all the time looking for these items. They're coming in with black lights. Do you know what they're looking for? Uranium glass. And the people that are looking for it are a wide range. We have collectors that really know what they're talking about, and we also have a whole bunch of newbies I'm seeing into the collecting field that just want to find anything that glows. And they're paying good prices for it. Some of the dealers at my antique mall have actually set up blacklight displays to show off the pieces that are glowing, just to help the customers. And I'm telling you right now, it's huge. I don't know if other social media outlets like TikTok or where all of the excitement is coming from. We even had parents that came armed with a blacklight because their children wanted stuff that glowed for Christmas. I'm not sure if the uranium glass trend is only local to me, But if you have it, maybe put it under black light, maybe promote it in your space because it has been so hot. In fact, I'm even starting to look for it too, but I haven't had much luck because it's so popular right now in my area. I hope this year we get back to larger items too. That makes making the rent so much easier. But until then, pick up those smalls and let me know if anything is different in your area. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If you really enjoy all of my tips and tricks on being a booth owner, I do have a Facebook Booth Owners Business Group. I go live every week with videos like this. They are live, so you can ask questions and get help. Once again, all of the information is in the description box below. Thank you all so much. This channel has meant so much to me, but it's also because of all of you and all of your kind comments and tips to help one another. Now get out there to salvage, repurpose, and create.